There we go. You can go.
I'm Jordan Rausch, and I depicted chapter 20, assessing the damage. This is my thought process of different colors to use. I went with the dull yellow to resemble confidence and communication, also intellectual thought. This whole scene takes place within the airplane and the crew members in Major Kong, so I think that helped a lot with showing confidence within Dr. Kong along with the crew members. And green shows determination and luck. They're determined to get the job done, but are yet lucky that they weren't completely destroyed by the missile. Here's my process for the crew members. I thought them more as robots because they just have one thing in their mind, and one thing only is to get the job done. So that's why I just went that way to make them look more like robots. This is Major Kong. I added a hat to him, make him different, and also I tried to look like he had a chew-in, like tobacco chew, because a lot of other characters in the movie had dependencies on tobacco, gum, sex, and this also fits in with his character being a cowboy. This is my first scene, process of my first scene. This is when they're assessing what has been ruined within the plane. The ironic part was that auto-destruct mechanism was broke and completely destroyed. So I continued to add more damage and stuff to it. And then this is my final for scene 1. As I say, I have like all the control mechanisms destroyed, and then I added another crew member, like looking over his shoulder, trying to figure out and listen what's going on, what's wrong and stuff. He's also playing a snare drum for like 2 reasons. One, just for the suspense of like they're sitting there quiet, trying to figure out what's wrong, and also that like in the background in the movie, it had like a really army sound to it, with it sounded like a drum and a couple other instruments. So I thought him standing there would give more suspense. And this is my process for scene 2. I was putting together the landscape of them flying over Russia. In this scene, he stated that he's pretty much telling the crew that he's still confident in his flying abilities, even though they're damaged and flying at low levels. So he's just portraying his confidence he's going to get through to his troops. So he stated that they're flying so low they need sleigh bells on their plane. So I depicted them as him as more like Santa flying a sleigh, and the crew members as like the reindeer. And this also helps because he takes control of the whole situation. The other ones are just doing their job. So I was having a tough time trying to get it so you could tell that he was flying lower than the mountains, not above them or anything. And I also added the missile on the back. So to do that, I put him behind the mountain so you could tell that he was lower than it, not just flying above it. That was my final scene for scene 2. And I only did 2 scenes.
When you were first talking about your color choices, you said you chose yellow for confidence. I was a little confused by that because usually when I think of yellow, it's like yellow bellied, like very scared. So I just wonder where you came from with yellow being a confident color.
I just looked up what different meanings of colors, like what they evoke, like characteristics they can evoke. I find that multiple resources, and then it helped with it shows communication, which there's a lot of communication between crew members and actually.
I think maybe a way that you can make the yellow look more like stronger is maybe choosing a stronger hue of it. Like I think the pale doesn't convey confidence as much as maybe a stronger color would. Yeah.
Could you go back to the first scene, please? Before you added the second crew member, I thought the point of view was top looking down. And then once you added the second crew member, it just confused me a little bit because, like, from the seat from the bottom of the seat there, it's angled up, and then the second crew member is just standing flat on the ground. It has like two viewpoints and it's a little weird.
Does that reflect the fact that there are various places in different levels in the plane, or did you just not?
I guess like, maybe it's a mistake. I guess. I guess it doesn't really throw me off that much. You said the bottom of the chair is like
yeah, it's angling up this way, so I imagine the camera angle is going down this way.
Okay, yeah, so it would like need to be.
I would just tilt the guy standing up a little bit more. And then second thing was, if you want to switch to the second scene, please. Before you added characters in there, the land mass on the right looks like an arrow pointing up.
I guess it's kind of. I was trying to show. It's hard to get like the depth perception. So like on the side there, like the dents of the trees, because you're not really seeing like the face of the mountain. You're just seeing the side. It's going back, and then like the thing like where it's not as dense is like what's facing more towards you.
Yeah, it's just it's weird to me because it just looks like it's an arrow pointing up, and then you just have Kong go in the opposite direction.
I think maybe like a few less trees, because I have like guidelines to kind of show that perception in there too, but you can't really see them that easily with the trees, I guess.
Should some of the trees maybe be a little different size? One's nearer?
I do have 3 different sized trees.
Oh, okay.
It's easier to tell when you can see like up close, I guess, on the computer.
Yeah, it's like a giant arrow.
There's 3 different sized trees I had.
Okay.
And this is just like my process of like making them in different positions than the original characters I had. That's it.
I was just gonna suggest about the size, if you want to go to your final slide, just that I think that would help with the perception of it, maybe like if you were trying to make them bigger up front, smaller in the back, but then also how you were saying that you wanted to make the slide look like it was closer to the ground than the trees. I think that in order to do that, you may want to make that smaller and the trees bigger. I mean, I know that that's your focal point, so that's why it's hard to do, but I just think that would show you where exactly it's located, and it'd be a little bit more obvious to us.
So make him smaller and the trees bigger?
Yeah, I mean, I know you kind of have to play around with it, because you still want that to be your main focus and not the trees, but maybe you can have, you can just play around with size, and I think that'd give you, like, it just help with your perception overall.
Yeah, that was probably one of like, the things I had for the whole presentation.
Also, the bottom of the whole mountain structure, it kind of cuts off the bottom before. I was just wondering, why doesn't that extend all the way to the bottom of the slide?
Because like there's also like a lot of water around and stuff, so it's just like not a whole string of mountains. There's like various mountains like around the water. And I just didn't like want to take up too much. Like that'd be a lot of green and white in the whole entire screen. I feel like it's already kind of big. I could make it even smaller now.
I agree with Tess on this. Like, you should make the mountains or trees bigger, and maybe you could create some sort of valley scene that it looks like they're smaller and they're coming out of the valleys of the mountains, kind of just to kind of get the look you're going for.
Can you go to your first? At first I didn't notice that we were supposed to be looking at the back of the guy in the front, and I couldn't tell that what he was holding with a drum either. Maybe if you had him turn more to the side so that we could see the actual drum, we would be able to tell that that's the back of him.
Alright. I guess I'd asked many people what they thought that guy was doing, and most 80% of the responses I got was he was playing a drum or some kind of instrument.
Mm.
That's why I kept it that way.
I think maybe you could even just move the drum a little bit farther to the right and show us a little more of it.
It kind of threw off like the angle of his other arm, but I thought it would make his like left arm look really extended, like he would be playing like this kind of thing. But I guess like a side view might help a little bit too if I turned the whole thing in like perspective. The whole
You
guy.
ever play drums?
No, I've seen people.
I
play.
have. So actually, you can do that because it
A lot
goes
of
like
people do
this. This stick is straight and this one's crossed.
Actually,
Before you explain this, I thought that like it was a recording studio and like the drum like broke the machine. So I think maybe there's another way to make it look like that. I don't know. Like I didn't really understand why you had a drum until you explained it. Like I liked why you put it in, but I didn't quite connect it until you went through the process.
I think, honestly, that you could take the words auto-destruct off there and you'll be fine without them and it will make it seem more like the control panel.
okay.
Because given the size that you have to put on there, on a control panel it would be minute if it were labeled, right?
Yeah.
And so given the size of it, that makes it look like it's something else. And I think if you just take those words out, you'll be fine with that.
I thought it was like one of the more ironic scenes, even within the
It
movie
is
itself.
ironic, but you don't actually have to have it there to understand that, that where the damage is. I think it may cost you in the fact that it has to be so big in order to read it. So, anyone else? There are a couple of shadows on there you might want to take off, like the drumstick, etc. But thank you. Good, you knew everyone's name. Good. Wonderful.